What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today, taking a little bit of a look back and a peek ahead. Going back to a video I made early January 2023. This was my goals for the upcoming year in regards to what I wanted to add to the collection. Let's run through those really quickly here. Also, curious, comments down below, what did you add? What was the number one, number two, maybe a top three, top one, depending on what you chase? What were some of your biggest and best pickups this year? And it doesn't necessarily have to be most expensive. Maybe the one or two that meant the most to you, chase, whatever it is. Throw those in the comments down below. My goals for this year. Like I said, I posted this video January 2023, right after the new year. And these were in no particular order from what I remember. LeBron James auto. I have never owned, spoilers, still don't own, a LeBron James auto. Harrison Ford, Star Wars Stellar autograph. X-Men number 1, the OG. And that was... I believe I even mentioned it in the video that was going to be a fairly long shot goal, but it was something that I wanted to potentially make a run at. Finish the Dark Phoenix run, and including X-Men 101, even though it's not technically Dark Phoenix, it's the first appearance of Phoenix, but it's two separate things. X-Men 101 and finish off the Dark Phoenix run. In relatively high grade CGC. Didn't have to be 9.8, but I kind of wanted 9.6 or better across the board. I had like 2 of the issues and I had a bunch more still to chase. So those were the major goals heading into the 2023 year. Now we are at the end of 2023 at the cusp of 2024. How did I do on the 2023 list? And then we'll give a little peek for what the chase will be in 2024. LeBron auto. This was originally going to be a plan to pick up at the National this past year in Chicago. It's kind of something I wanted to buy in person. Wanted to make sure there was a nice, clean auto. However, the early part of the year, things were pointing towards maybe him not being Upper Deck exclusive anymore. There was a lot of rumors, a lot of smoke. And about halfway through the year, I pivoted off of this because I was concerned what could potentially happen if LeBron autos pop up again under the Topps umbrella and what that could mean for his autograph prices long term. So I decided to put a pause on that one and see how that played out. Harrison Ford auto, done, got one very early into 2023. Actually, very shortly after I made this video. I think in February, I picked up a Ford auto. One popped up for the price that I was looking for in one of the sets that I was looking for. Snagged it. Spoilers, that will be on one of my top pickups of the year video. I am planning on doing like a little bit of a top 10 of everything that I grabbed this year, both sports, comics, non-sports, all in one video. X-Men 1. Prices corrected on this book quite a bit this year. It still eluded me. It was one of those things that, due to the price point, I kind of have to sit down and be like, this is what we're doing. We are making a run at this. Whether that be selling some stuff or saving up for multiple months and really cutting back spending in other areas. And that's part that I struggle with because I always want to chase something different. So that one did not come to a close, though it was a long shot to begin with. X-Men 101 and the Dark Phoenix run, done. Got him. I knocked pretty much all of that out at Heroes Con this past year over the summer in Charlotte. The goal going into that convention was X-Men 101 and as much of the Dark Phoenix run as I could possibly get. I got an X-Men 101 at that show, picked that up in a CGC 9.2, which was in the range that I wanted to be in. I most likely wanted to be in a 9, 9.2, or 9.4. 9.6s are still pretty pricey on that. I would have potentially made a run at one, but whatever one I found in that grade range that I liked the way that it presented, and was priced correctly, I would go ahead and snag. So we knocked that off the list. And I also got a bunch of the Dark Phoenix run at Heroes Con. I picked up almost all of them. When I walked out of there, I was missing one book, and it was the most minor of the run and the least expensive. So shortly after returning from Charlotte, I went ahead and snagged a copy on eBay and finished that out. So the Dark Phoenix run has been completed. Here is a photo of the whole Dark Phoenix run all together. As you can see, all in 9.6 or better. Couple 9.8s smattered through there, or just the two right there. And this was a big one. These are the two I actually owned prior to starting the run. All the rest of these, outside the 129, I actually had picked that up ahead of time as well. Pretty much all these other ones I snagged at Heroes Con. I believe the Dazzler, first appearance of Dazzler, I also picked up. It might have been a MySlabs pickup right before Heroes Con. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the way walking in the Heroes Con. I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at Heroes Con, and then picked up this one, the 138, afterwards on eBay. But that's the whole run all complete. Spoilers, this will also be on my top 10 pickups for this upcoming year. So that was the goals for 2023. As you see, we actually did pretty well on them. The LeBron auto I pivoted off of. We got the Ford auto. Did not get the X-Men one, but that was a long shot at the time. Finished off the Dark Phoenix run and picked up the X-Men 101. So overall, I'm going to chalk that up as a pretty good success. And, you know, the LeBron auto is a good thing to kind of point at as, you know, what you said at the beginning of the year. You're not held in stone by this stuff. Market conditions can change. The way you think about something can change. Don't hesitate to flip off this stuff. Or in the case of the LeBron auto, it just didn't feel right. Something felt off about that. Like I said, in this case, it had to do with the exclusivity stuff. And I said, you know what? There's no rush for this. Let's go ahead and take a pause and revisit. Now, let's look ahead to this upcoming year. Once again, returning X-Men 1. This is going on the list again. Same reasons as last year. I don't know if I will pull one off. I've been watching the prices on these closely. My target range is a 2, or I'm going to say a 1.5 to a 2.5. Most likely going to be a 1.5 or a 2 that presents, maybe even a 1.8 that presents really well. What I'm looking at there, a 1.5, they go for about $4,000. A 1.8 goes for about 4.5. A 2.0 goes for around 5. These are 90-day averages. And then a 2.5 goes for just under 6. That's kind of where we currently sit. 3s are pushing 7, and that is more than I want to spend on a collectible. My cap tends to be about $5,000. That is the most I have ever spent on anything in regards to a comic book or card. And the current sitting record for that is my Hulk 181. That pushed the $5,000 range, and just under that was my giant size X-Men one. I forget my individual price point on that, but it was a couple $1,000s cheaper than the 181. So those are my two biggest purchases to date. The X-Men one would probably challenge that, obviously. I will know probably pretty early on if I'm going to make a run at this. My target goal would be Heroes Con. The other thing that I'm going to tie to this is I most likely would like to purchase this in person. Now that's going to add a little complexity to this because it's really going to limit me. I don't have access to as many large Comic Cons as I do card shows. So it is most likely going to restrict me to Heroes Con, maybe New York Comic Con, and maybe if something else pops up in between. But Heroes Con would probably be my primary purchasing place for this book, most likely. I would potentially buy one online. I would like to probably maybe like in a live claim sale where I can see video of it. Just in these low grades, seeing it in person is very, very important. You could get a much better sense for how the book presents, how the colors look, and those sorts of things. So just given the grade range that I'm looking at, I would love to try to snag this in person. Like I said, that's going to add a complicating factor to all this, but Heroes Con is kind of what I am eyeing up and that will be that's typically in June, I believe, in Charlotte. So we'll see how the beginning part of the year goes, see how things shake out, see how prices move, and then kind of go from there. But this is really on my list again this year, and I think it is something that I can accomplish. Non-sports card side of things, and I will have a sports card as well. I kind of divvied this up this year. One key comic book, one key non-sports card, and one key sports card. We'll save the sports card for last. Non-sports card. I've been eyeing these up a lot lately to close out 2023. I'm kind of pissed at one that I missed about a month ago. Another one came up that I was looking at in a lower grade, and that is you can see it on the screen. Most likely a beta Shivan Dragon. I would look at an alpha, but they would probably be way too expensive. So beta is much more in line. Anyone that's watched the channel for a while knows that I played a lot of Magic the Gathering back in the day. I started playing in middle school. That was right when Revised came out. I did not play an alpha or beta, but I came into it pretty hardcore into Revised and into 3rd edition. Like those were right my sweet spot. The tail end of Revised and the beginning of 3rd edition. Played a ton in the school lunchroom. Used to get in trouble for it all the time. Played pretty hardcore in middle school. Quit in high school and got back deep again in college. Ran up a boatload of credit card debt. I've talked about that before. That's a video for another day. Paid that credit card debt off by selling my collection and have dabbled with it in my, now into my 40s, mostly on MTG Arena, though I don't play that often anymore, and collecting sealed wax. This particular card, the reason why this particular card is, when I was a kid, this was the artwork that I remember. Seeing the Shivan Dragon, there was just something about this card. One, it's legendary Magic artwork. Just seeing this captured me. That's the best way I could describe it. I was not like super huge into like D&D stuff at that time and like Lord of the Rings and fantasy style, like that sort of storytelling. A little bit here and there, it intrigued me. For whatever reason, this particular image just captured me. It just pulled me in. And then I was just hooked going forward from there. So this is just like one of those, there's a couple cards like this, or you can even say comic books, whatever. There's just a certain things you run across in your life. For me, this is one of them. This set me down a path of really being big into that sort of stuff. It's not things that we talk about on the channel a lot, but like I play in a regular Dungeons and Dragons game once a week. I watch a crap ton of Critical Role. Set me down the Magic the Gathering path. My wife and I love watching Lord of the Rings. I don't like reading the book for whatever reason, but like that style of that fantasy, high fantasy storytelling / games, tabletop stuff, Hero Quest, D&D, all that. I don't want to put it all on this one particular image, but man, oh man, this is the one that sticks out in my mind. Another big one for this is the Cyclops card from Marvel Universe Series 2. That particular image also grabs me. I'll spare that story for this video, but for very similar reasons. There's a whole story behind that. I've told that in videos as well. Just certain things like this capture the imagination, and this card did when I was a kid. I could get a revised one, a 3rd edition one, pretty easily in high grade. They're very cheap. Not very cheap, but they're very affordable. You could just go ahead and find one pretty much wherever you want. It just doesn't look as good. The black border on the beta and the fact that it is a beta Magic the Gathering card just kind of elevates it to a different level. And this would be both PC, and I do actually think something like this is an air quote investment. So this is on my radar this year. I have a safe search for this on eBay. Like I said, I whiffed on a mid-grade one. The one that I messed up on, there was a 9.0 CGC that went for about $2,000 about a month ago. And in hindsight, I wish I would have went harder on that one. Because mid-grades like 6s or 7s sell for almost $1,200. So at that point, I'd rather just pay the extra and get the much higher grade. Is what it is. There is more fish in the sea. but that one is on my radar big time for this upcoming year. Last but not least, on the sports card side of things, this is my pivot point. I'm still going to continue to hold off on the LeBron auto. If one comes across my desk, sure. Like if I could trade in the one or I get a good deal on one, I'll grab one. But it is not top of mind. On the sports card side of things, something I would potentially like to pick up this year. And this kind of falls into the X-Men 1 bucket of this would be a little bit tricky. This would take some planning. Most likely, I would probably aim for getting this at the National. Once again, I don't necessarily have to buy this in person. I could buy this online. It's much easier to evaluate a card online than it is a comic book. And the grade that I'm looking for in this would be at the range where it basically just comes down to centering on regards to the eye appeal. That is a 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron Refractor, rookie refractor. These have obviously come down quite a bit. I have this chart just for the purposes of the green percentages. This goes back to January 1st, 2020. So pre-COVID, right before the pandemic hit, right before prices went absolutely nutty. There's some weirdness on here because this Beckett BGS 85 did not have a sale pre-pandemic. That one sold in the early days of the pandemic when prices were going Looney Tunes. So that's why you see this down 64%, why everything else is in the green, just if someone's wondering that. I would most likely be looking at a PSA 8. They currently go for around 4K-ish. I would look at also a BGS 8, BGS 9, BGS 8.5. Probably looking around that range. I don't know that I would get to the 9s. A BGS 9 is 7K, a PSA 9 is 7K. That's more than I want to get into for the same reasons. I just kind of have an artificial cap of around 5K for this sort of stuff. There's no reason why I can't spend more. I just starts getting a little squirrely when you start spending that much money. So if I can get a nice presenting 8, and what I mean by that is something that's not completely wackadoodle off center. Obviously, it's not going to be a perfect card in a PSA 8. I just don't want it drastically OC one way or the other. It could be a little bit. I would look to potentially get into that. That is something that is on my list. Once again, attainable. I would need to do some work, potentially sell some stuff, but I have more inventory on the sports card side of things that I could potentially make a trade for something like that if a dealer was willing. Now, I don't know if they'd be willing to, but that is something that I could also angle on that, or maybe even take some of the pain off, do like 2K in trade, 2K in cash or something like that. But LeBron rookie refractor, and the reason I'm pivoting that way is because of still the uncertainty around the auto, where a rookie refractor Topps Chrome is always going to be a rookie refractor Topps Chrome, and I would like to have that, tuck that away. That's also one of those simultaneous long-term investable type cards, in my opinion, as much as you want to say about LeBron, and also a major PC Grail item to lock that up. I've had a Topps Chrome base rookie before, acquired one. That was a big deal when I got that. I ended up trading that card away before prices went completely nosedive on that. I took a slight loss on that card. But I would like to get back in now to a rookie refractor. I still think those have the potential to hold value long term. He is, in my opinion, he's the best player in the NBA. I know people will go back and forth on the LeBron versus Jordan on that, but what LeBron is doing in his age 37 season is absolutely ridiculous. So you can argue about that in the comments down below, the LeBron v. Jordan thing, and don't even bring the Kobe nonsense in here. Kobe was really good, but he was not LeBron or Jordan levels good. So calm that nonsense down. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. Curious, what were some of your big pickups this year? And let me know anything big that you're chasing this upcoming year. We'll catch you, boys and girls, on the next one. Peace.